Hi, everyone. Welcome to our podcast series. Welcome to our improvised small studio that we created not that long ago. We're doing our best. It's late Friday night, but we're for you doing it for our viewers. Here with me is Omar, my CEO of Tekboox, and me, senior account manager at Tekboox. Welcome, Omar. How are you? How's this Friday been going?
Wonderful. No, I'm very excited. As you said, we this is our first few podcasts which we are creating. The goal of the podcast is more about creating a knowledge, just to let people know that what are the different advantages of using different services. A lot of research have came out regarding that how you can optimize your services and do best what you do rather than doing everything. Do what you best do. That is what our motto in life, and
Mm-hmm.
that is how you will get successful.
Mm-hmm. What do you say would be the business or what MD Health Tech or Tekboox, but especially MD Health Tech? What are they doing? What's the I know they're outsourcing, but how are they doing this? What can be outsourced, and how is the process set up?
So Gleb, 10 years ago when we started a PRG, physician revenue group, main pain point which we took is the medical billing. That medical billing is very tedious. It's very time consuming, a lot of resources. Many research have came out. If you go and check out, whenever you mix onshore and offshore, in that what you are doing, you are taking an advantage of cost savings. And also the biggest advantage is that you giving the work to the company what they do best. Only one thing. For example, when we were doing in medical billing, we are only doing one thing, that is medical billing. Now in MD Health Tech, we are only doing one thing and we are best at, that is prior authorization, referral coordinations, front desk optimization. At like when the patient comes in, how will you feel that you are going into the clinic and nurse says, "Please give me 1 second, let me take this call," and she will keep on taking phone calls
Mm-hmm.
and not attend the patient. Now that phone call, anyway, the person who is calling is remote. That person can be handled by any person who is not sitting at the front desk.
Yep.
Unfortunately, what we do, we maximize, trying to maximize the resource, but then at the end, the patient who is coming in, they are not getting satisfied by the
Mm-hmm.
services. So that is one of the biggest motto we started MD Health Tech, where any back office work that is available, we can take over, so you can give best services or best care to the patient who is coming on site.
Mm-hmm. And how would you say it fits in to the point where nurses that are working in house or front desks for people that are working in house, they're not intimidated by your service in terms of you trying to overtake or take their jobs because, like at the end of the day, you're charging much less than what they're getting paid. So they'll feel threatened. Well, how do you deal with that?
Exactly. Our average, the service is very cost effective. We are something around less than 25 to $30,000 per year, in which we are providing a lot of services. Definitely, it can be concerning for the staff, especially we have seen that the doctors who bring us in, uh, instead of we becoming the partner, we becoming their competitor,
Mm-hmm.
especially for the staff. So one thing is very important when you bring an outsourcing company is educating your staff well before time, that we are not replacing your jobs, we are trying to give a better service
Mm-hmm.
to our patients. Because when the nurse start giving better service to the patient, she is less distracted with the calls, with the prior authorization. I'll give you one example. My wife went yesterday to a doctor and she got that appointment, and it's a real story. She went to a doctor and doctor gave her 2 months out the date for
Mm-hmm.
her procedure.
Mm-hmm.
She went there, and what she found out, the front staff nurse did not complete the prior authorization.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And now she has to come back and she is so unhappy that she is thinking of changing the doctor.
Yeah.
Share that when doctor cannot take care of, she knows that after 2 months I'm coming in, because why? Nurse is too busy. Nurse is doing all kind of stuff. Nurse is taking front calls. Nurse is doing prior authorization. She is doing referral coordination. She is managing the patient. She is answering the patients on their medical medicines as well.
Yeah.
How much the front staff can do? Why not you can tell and educate your staff that I am freeing up from the front. You just supervise the back end resources. Make sure prior authorization is been done or not. If there is any appeal, we need to do that. Prior authorization has been rejected. And we have seen where we have to start providing services of prior authorization, front desk, and then also referral coordination. Their revenue has also increased. Do you know why?
Why?
Now your denials are less, your prior authorizations are getting approved on time, your billing is not getting delayed, your referral coordination is much better. At the end of the day, the revenue for the doctor is increasing.
Yeah, that sounds great to me. But yeah, I hope nurses are at some point are going to understand that it's not a threat to them. It's more of an extension where they can give those mundane tasks to outsource and make have a better work-life balance. And coming to our main point of our current today's conversation is going to be work-life balance and outsourcing. How can outsourcing help your work-life balance?
Impact of utilization of other companies into the ecosystem of healthcare. So, Gleb, what you have to discuss today? I think you brought some very interesting story.
Yeah.
You had a meeting with a client.
Exactly. I would like to start this part with a quick story, and it's a real story. I had a meeting with a client a couple days ago, and client came to me and said, "My provider, he has so much backlog in all the documents and all the prior auths and all the notes that he has to spend all weekend long and all time after work when he comes back home." Just sitting and doing all of this and doing the filling out the paperwork and filling the notes, filling out the prior auths, and it is compromising his life. He has wife, he has kids that he has to hang out with, and I think this is important in nowadays world that job is not the only thing that matters. Like you have some life outside of it, and you should not compromise it. Especially if you can do something about it. I know, like sometimes you can't, but in this case, I think you can, and you should not be compromising your personal life for work life. So I think that's something that is in your experience in terms of how MD Health Tech was able to lower that burden and take it off some other clients, and how we are as a company we're trying to help the providers. So back to you, Omar. What else do you have to add on that point?
So you brought a very good point from a reference of our existing client, and she is definitely very happy from the service because she has learned. And I would just put a small thought for everyone that in today's world, everyone, at least we are using one or more than one services from outside.
Yep.
For example, doctors, are you building your own EHR, EMR software?
Yeah.
Because if you start building that, how will you work? Right? Same thing, you are using many services other than that. IT services, cloud services, email services. Why? Because they do the best, they specialize, they work one thing. That's why. I would say most of the mid-size or small-size clinics, they have already outsourcing their medical billing. They have realized that either I can focus on the work, take care of the patient, what I do best, or I should go and start doing documentation and work and do all the back end work. Same way,
Yep.
prior authorization is one part of the medical billing process. Most of the billing companies are not taking that. And plus, if they are, then they have so many other tasks, they usually don't take over or they don't do the proper work. We as a company only do three things: prior authorization, referral coordination,
Mm-hmm.
and front desk optimization.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you will start, definitely you might have seen, maybe you have already outsourced your billing, you have already purchased a software somewhere else, but still your front staff is getting overburdened, right? Even once your practice start growing, more and more patients, because it's a post-COVID era. In COVID, there were a lot of relaxation by the medical billing companies, by the medical companies, that what you can see patients remotely over the phone. But now it's going away. Patient has to come into the practice.
Mm-hmm.
You want to, my question from all the doctors and the clinics, do you want to put your effort in managing a relationship with the patient who is walking in, or you want to put more attention to the person or the patient or a promotion call or someone who is calling your practice 24 by 7? I think so. What would be your answer?
My answer would be to not compromise my work-life balance. That's what my answer would be.
Exactly. Everyone in the practice or any doctor will think this, that he need to put more attention
Mm-hmm.
to the patients who are walking in.
Yep.
Rest of the things can be manageable and can be outsourced. So again, with this, you can definitely manage your work-life balance, not do work 24 by 7, not like I know still one doctor. He started a new practice. Wherever he goes, he take his one varnish device, wipe with him, carrying in his bag. I said, don't spoil your life.
Yeah.
Outsourced it, right? Give it someone who do the best,
Yeah.
and that is it.
And kind of like one more thing that I want to add on that, you can't physically do everything to the best of your abilities. It's like at some point you're going to compromise something, and your practice revolves around having a patient in there and giving them the best care. And if you can give them even better care, but by not focusing on stuff that can be outsourced, why are you not doing this? Well, like, why are you compromising your patient that's in there by doing something that can be done by third parties? And I think
You
if
brought a very valid point. Uh, I think me and you were talking about it last week, Gleb, that in any business, in any practice, you need to see and find out that where you are having most iteration and why it is. We have done a lot of analysis. In any medical practice, there are two groups. One is the core group where your caregivers, doctors, nurses, which are having a very good job security. They are doing very well and they are very well committed with the practice. But on the other side, the supporting staff was never been, I don't want to say that not been considered, but this is the staff historically we have seen has a lot of iteration.
Mhm,
Definitely the practice need to control the cost as well.
mhm,
Just imagine if you have to hire new resources every 3 months, how much effort you and your staff will put in hiring a resource.
mhm.
Did you ever put a cost on that? Sometimes we don't even feel. On weekends, on Saturdays, browsing around on Indeed,
Yep.
putting resumes, going on social media, trying to hire, and then pray from God. He stays with you for life.
Yeah.
But no one, right? So there are also a lot of research and studies have been done that outsourcing or giving a responsibility to someone else has improved the functionality, the work ethics, work life balance,
Mhm.
and you can get done a lot more by in a controlled cost.
Mhm.
So I highly recommend that you should
Yeah.
consider at least looking at it, that if you can do medical software outsourcing. Why can't you do a front staff outsourcing, helping, augmenting, providing a support
Mm-hmm.
to your front staff so they can perform better, their work-life balance improve, and they stay with you longer, which
Mm-hmm.
is a challenge in this world.